Would you tell the jury who you are and how you met Michael Shaver?
I met Michael, we started dating in 7th grade. We lived in a very small town in Lawrence, New York.
Even though Michael had been killed, a mysterious delivery of flowers was sent to a woman, Jeremy Townsend's wife, alerting her to the affair between Jeremy and his wife, Laurie. The flowers included a chilling message that hinted at the betrayal, leaving her shocked.
It says, "Roses are red, violets are blue. My wife is a whore, your husband is too. Sorry about this. Check your Facebook message. We need to talk. Mike."
Right now, I am up against something that I would have never imagined possible. And so today, I'm coming to you. My family and I are begging you, asking for your assistance to help prove my innocence in this case. I am not guilty. I had nothing to do with the murder of Michael Shaver, nor did I have any knowledge of his body being buried under where we were building a gathering place, a conversational fire pit area for our family and friends. Without you, we don't have the financial means to pay for my attorney's fees.
In 2021, Laurie Shaver, who was accused of murdering her husband, Michael Shaver, made a public plea for financial support alongside her defense attorney, Jeffrey Wiggs. The appeal, shared through a video, sought to raise $50,000 to cover legal fees and other expenses related to her defense. Shaver, whose case had garnered significant public attention, emphasized the financial strain of her legal battle, while Wiggs underscored the importance of securing adequate resources to ensure a fair trial. Laurie Shaver appeared crying in court during her trial for the murder of her husband, Michael Shaver, whose remains were found buried on their property in 2018. Her emotional display drew criticism, as Michael had been dead for years and Laurie had since moved on, having a relationship with Jeremy Townsend and even remarrying. Michael Shaver, a 36-year-old Disney monorail mechanic, was reported missing in 2015. His disappearance remained a mystery until 2018, when his remains were found buried beneath a concrete slab under a fire pit in the backyard of the home he shared with his wife, Laurie Shaver, in Claremont, Florida. The discovery came after a concerned friend contacted authorities. Laurie provided inconsistent answers about Michael's whereabouts, claiming he had left years earlier. Her evasive behavior raised suspicions, leading investigators to obtain a search warrant. Excavation of the fire pit revealed human remains, later identified as Michael through forensic analysis. During her trial, Laurie Shaver gave a startling testimony, claiming that her daughter was the one who shot her husband, Michael Shaver, whose body was found buried under a concrete slab in their backyard in 2018. The claim lacked evidence and further complicated the case. Investigators highlighted Laurie's failure to report Michael missing and her continued use of his finances, pointing to her involvement. During her trial, Laurie Shaver claimed her daughter fired the shot that killed her husband, Michael Shaver, despite also insisting she had no knowledge of his body being buried in their backyard. Prosecutors questioned her credibility, noting her failure to report Michael missing for years.
Now, your testimony is that she shot him, correct?
Yes.
And at that point, that you were able to get out from underneath Mr. Shaver, correct?
I did not crawl away until he was falling to the ground. After she shot him, I was still looking at her, like, still comprehending everything that was happening. I wasn't to yet, because he had his foot on my face, smushing it into the ground. It took me, it wasn't that long, but it took me a little bit to kind of comprehend what was occurring. And
certainly didn't get up after being shot, correct? He certainly didn't get up out of the chair after being shot, correct?
No, not until, no. After the second shot, he fell forward. The first shot, he sat in the chair.
And so I went to my mom's room, and I went at her end table, and I grabbed her gun, and I went back out, and I went to the door. The door was already open, and he had my mom on the ground still holding her to the ground, still kicking her, and I shot him, and nothing happened. He didn't fall. Nothing happened. And then Jeremy.
Let me stop you a little bit, Isabel. Okay, you say nothing happened. Was he standing or sitting?
He was sitting in the chair.
He was sitting in the chair.
He was sitting in the chair.
His foot on your mom's head?
Right.
You shot him. Do you know exactly who you shot him? Or?
I'm not exactly sure. No.
Okay. Did you shoot him from the rear region, or where do you think you shot him?
I was aiming towards his head,
Okay.
but I'm not sure where the bullet went.
Okay. And what happened after you fired the gun?
He was just sitting there. I mean, he wasn't moving. Nothing happened. There was no blood. There was no nothing. And then,
Let me stop you there. Okay. Let me interject here and there, if I may.
okay.
Did you feel when you fired that shot that had to be done, or he would have killed your mother?
Yes. I'm
Firm
sure.
on that?
I'm firm on that.
Was he using that type of force in your mind?
Yes.
That it was necessary?
Yes.
Okay. What happened after you shot him? Or you believe you shot him?
Afterwards, Jeremy came, and
How long?
it was right after it happened. Like, I hadn't even had a chance to walk away, move, nothing yet. And, he came in, and he took the gun from me, and then he shot him again. And that's when he fell to the ground. And, my mom had crawled away. He fell to the ground. Jeremy shot him. He told my mom to take us out of the house, take us to school, and that we needed to leave. We're not to tell anybody. We can't tell nobody. We can't call the cops. We can't say anything, or else he was going to do the same thing to me and my brother. And he was going to, hurt us too. So we went to school.
My wife contacted me April 12th, 2016. She had received flowers.
And then did that expose the relationship between yourself and Laurie Shaver to her?
Not at first, because she asked me who Mike was.
Okay.
And I did not know who a Mike was. Once she checked her Facebook and seen the messages from Mike, it started to come out.
And that was when?
April 2016.
At any point when you were over at the Shaver residence, was Michael Shaver there?
No.
At any point did you arrive on a scene where Michael Shaver had been shot?
I say what?
At any point did you arrive at the Shaver residence or any other place where Michael Shaver had been shot?
No.
Travis was reportedly living with Laurie at the time of the discovery, and investigators found that Michael Shaver's body had been buried under the concrete slab for years. While Travis was not implicated in the murder, his presence in Laurie's life and the timeline of events raised questions during the investigation and trial.
That is in question right now. The dirt was already graded out. The form of the fireplace was already there. So there was concrete bags in one of the sheds that was at the property when I met Laurie.
How long had they sat on the property, to your knowledge?
I have no idea.
Were they there several months, or what?
After Laurie and I met?
Yeah.
Oh, it was months.
Did there appear to be any hurry to lay a patio?
No, sir. In fact, the only reason why we decided to lay the patio was Isabel, Laurie's oldest daughter, her birthday's in September. So we were going to have a large get-together, a birthday party, and the area around the fire pit was all mud. So we decided, well, the concrete's there in the shed, we're going to go ahead and lay that so people don't have to stand in mud during the celebration.
Laurie Shaver's actions, particularly her decision to allow a birthday celebration for her daughter, Isabel, to be held at the fire pit under which Michael's body was buried, underscored Laurie's cold and calculated nature, portraying her as a cold-blooded murderer who had no remorse for what happened to Michael. Hosting a joyful event at the very location of her husband's concealed grave highlighted Laurie's ability to maintain a facade of normalcy while hiding a dark secret.
Okay. Has the jury reached a verdict?
Yes.
Is it unanimous?
Yes.
Please hand the verdict forms to Madam Bailiff. Thank you. All right, after having reviewed both verdict forms, the court finds that there are no errors or omissions in the filling out of the verdict forms. Madam Clerk, please publish the verdict.
In the Circuit Court of the 5th Judicial Circuit of the State of Florida in and for Lake County, the State of Florida versus Laurie Shaver, case number 2020 CF 2361. Verdict as to count 1. We, the jury, find as follows as to count 1 of the charge. The defendant is guilty of second-degree murder. Was the defendant in actual possession of a firearm? Yes. Did the defendant discharge a firearm? Yes. Did the discharge cause great bodily harm? Yes.